Hello all and welcome. Last year I did some Kelsey onions from seed, and it was very poor germination. They weren't very good at all. In fact, if I remember right, quite a few of you out there in YouTube land commented basically the same sort of thing, saying how bad they were, and one or two said about they'd ordered plants for this year. I did originally think to myself, well, what I'll do is, rather than just one pack of seeds, I'll order several packs of seed. And then I thought to myself, well, no, it doesn't cost much more to order the plants. So I decided this year that I would order Kelsey plants. I've got some to pot up, but just to give you a bit of here's some that these are the plants, and I've been potting them up. Very pleased with them. Really good healthy plants. So I've got some more to carry on with, so I'm going to do some more of them. I've got some of my own onions. These are well past needing potting on. These are a variety called Redlander. This will be the third year that I've done these, and they're good onions. These are a couple from last year's sowing, and good firm onion. They're to be honest, for a red onion, I mean, they're a reasonable size, and they're not too sharp. They're quite sweet, quite nice. So I've got them to pot on, as we can see here. With them, I mean, germination's been very good, and I only want about 30 at the most with regards red onion. So I'm going to get and do those. I've also got some brassicas that I want to get and sow, so that I can use, he says, use me little bit of kit that I bought, this handy seeder. So we'll see how we get on with that. So I'm going to get and carry on, pot on these Kelsey onions, get and do some of these Redlander. I'll bring you back and show you some of what's gone on, what I've done, and then I'll show you with regards sowing some of me brassica seeds, getting them in. Right, all potted up, the onions. I'll spin you around. I'll excuse the shaky camera because you're in my hand, but here we go. So that is all the Kelsey done, all potted up. They came to me in like paper bags with a little bit of compost around the roots, but the paper bags were very damp, which I thought wasn't a bad thing at all. And then all these here are the Redlander. They've all been potted up. Not labelled them all. I've been sneaky, used different coloured pots. Those are some Centurion onion sets that I put in a few weeks back. They're coming along quite nicely. But I'm going to just put you back on the stand because there's something I want to show you. Right, now you've seen me potting on, you've seen that with the Kelsey. You've seen my Redlander onions, and I've potted them up. Now at the same time as I did the Redlander, I did some sweet yellow Spanish. Did a sowing of those as well. And of course the eagle-eyed amongst you might be thinking, well, when's he going to pot them on? Well, I don't know whether I'm going to, because this is them. Now, as you can see, they were done exactly the same time as these Redlander, and you don't need to be a mastermind to work out that these have come on really well, compared to these. Now, nothing has been done any different with any of these. These have all been, in fact, these have been under my grow lights in the house. They have literally been next to each other, sort of like this. So I don't understand why it is that my sweet yellow Spanish have basically, I mean, they don't look bad. They look pretty reasonable, but me Redlanders have, like, as if they're on steroids. They've really shot away compared to these. And as I say, I don't know why. It's all the same compost. They've been treated the same. It just baffles me. So these sweet yellow Spanish, considering I've got those onion sets as well, I've got plenty of onions for this year, even though I know that sets run a higher risk of going to seed than onions grown from seed. I don't think I've got anything really to worry about. So maybe these, maybe I won't do anything with these. I don't know. It's just baffled me. If any of you can explain it to me, and please comment, let me know. But it does seem weird that they're only 2-3 inches high at the most, whereas these, well, with these, when I've potted these on, I've been pinching the tops off these a little, but it's strange. So so next job is now going to be getting and sowing some brassicas. So we'll get on with that job next. Right, brassicas. I'll show you what I'm doing. Cauliflower Clapton. Done them quite a few years now, quite pleased with them. Calabrese Marathon. Done them before, they do very well. And Brussels sprouts Crispus, doing those. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to sow them into these size seed trays so that they can then have the propagator lid put on them. Now in the past I've always ended up with brassicas being a bit leggy, and I know it's always basically been down to me. I sowed the seed, I put them on my heat mats in the house, then I put them, once they start to germinate, I then put them under my grow lights. I'm going totally off that this year, not going to go anywhere near that. What I'm going to do is, once they're sown, and I've watered them, they're going into the greenhouse next door. They're going into, I've got like a big cloche that is set up in the greenhouse, and it's always a couple of degrees warmer in there than in the greenhouse. And I'm going to just put these, I shall do 3 of these, and I'm just going to put them into the greenhouse in there and leave them and let them germinate at their own time. Don't force anything. I'm not going to put them under any grow lights. I'm going to just leave them as they are, and hopefully, fingers crossed, this year we don't end up with any leggy brassicas. So I'm going to do a couple of these, then when I do the last tray I'll spin you round and I'll show you what I'm doing. Right, I've done the Calabrese, I've done the sprouts. Left now is my Clapton cauliflower. I've got sieved compost in there, put the label in, open up the seeds, where are we? Right, now then, the eagle-eyed amongst you will have noticed or will be noticing, I'm not using the seeder. I bought it, I've killed curiosity, don't like it. When you press down, I tried it with the first lot of the sprouts, and when I pressed down, about 6 seeds came out all at once. So I'm going back to the good old Mark 1 fingers. So I'll show you what I'm doing. That's it, that's all. So all as I'm doing, just picking up one seed at a time. Picked up 2 there. Just dropping them in place. Then I shall cover these. The others that I've done, the calabrese and the sprouts, I've covered them with compost. I'm going to cover these with vermiculite. It's not really going to matter what I use, but I just thought I'll do these with vermiculite just to be different. There's, I think it says there's 30 seeds in here. I've not counted. It does look as though that is the case. Right, now then, there's about 5 seeds here. Just drop them. There we go. And then I'm going to just pat that down, just gently, to ensure seeds are contacting, or in good contact, should I say, with the compost. And then good covering. We'll get a bit more in a minute and put on top. We'll just have a little bit more. As I say, the compost was sieved with some Jack's Magic. That will do. As I say, these now will have the propagator lid like that put on them. I'm going to go and fetch my sprayer and spray them. Then I'll put them into the greenhouse next door, and they will stay in there then until they start to germinate. And they'll stay in there really until I need to start and prick them out. So so that's another job done. Me brassicas for this year. Well, as you don't need me to tell you, you can see I'm round on the plot. I'm gonna give you a plot tour, and although there isn't anything to see, I'm just going to explain myself to you as to what I'm going to grow and where, with the plans that I'm looking at using. As I say, there's not a lot to see. We'll start up at the other end, because there's a couple of beds there that I'm now going to be using this year. I never used last year, well, probably 18 months or so. But I'll spin you round, we'll tootle off up to the other end of the plot, and I'll explain myself. Right, here we are up the top end. These 2 beds here. Now, these have not been worked for 12 to 18 months, basically because there was a little bit of bindweed in here, and there was quite a bit in that bed there, and every time I saw any coming up, I got it out best I could. These have now, I dug these over about 2 weeks ago. Got a lot of mare's tail out because we are inundated with mare's tail. It's everywhere around here, but you learn to live with that. Got the wrong teeth in. So these have had some compost put on them, a bit of fish blood and bone, and a bit of pelletised chicken muck on both of these. When I dug them over a couple of weeks ago, I did get some more bindweed out of there, but I got a lot of mare's tail out of both. The plan is probably peas in this bed. I don't know whether to go straight down the middle with one row, or whether to put about 3 smaller rows across. I don't know. As I'm looking at the camera now, the sun here comes from the right hand side and goes across to my left, comes straight round. So don't know, maybe 1 row down the middle. That bed there, that I think I'm going to put some onions in. It'll allow me to keep and work the soil around the onions. If any bindweed does appear, I can do something about getting it out more or less straight away. These 2 beds here, these are both going to have onions in. These have had a similar treatment to those. They've had some compost put in, some fish blood and bone, a little bit of pelletised chicken muck. That was done quite a few weeks ago, so they've been sitting sort of waiting ready for me to get and plant them up as and when I need to. Fruit trees, there's a lot of blossom coming on these. This is apple, those 2 are apple, and that's pear. And looking at them all, there is a lot, looks like there's going to be a lot of blossom come on these. So that's that with this little bit here. I'll move you down the bus and show you what else I'm doing. Right, this long bed here. Now then, plans. Well, we'll go from both ends. This is going to have sprouts in this year. Then that far end there, I'm looking at putting a couple of rows of peas in there. The rest of this then, there'll be sweet corn, leeks, there'll be some more brassicas, either cauliflower or calabrese, as we work along here, and maybe another row of peas a bit later on in the year. We'll see, but that's roughly the plan. It's not what I did last year. I have moved things around a little, but that's what I'm thinking of doing, possibly starting with some peas in there within the next couple of weeks. We will see. The weather forecast doesn't seem too bad, so maybe we'll start on that. Right, these 4 beds here, starting from the back, that's going to be a bed for beetroot. I've decided. I've got some that I'm growing at home in little plug cell trays, and it's coming along nicely, so that's going to have beetroot in it. This is going to be the beans again. For about 3-4 years now, I've always grown me cobra, me French climbing beans in here. It's one thing that I don't move. I always grow them in the same bit of ground. I remember years ago when I was at home, my dad always used to dig a trench out in the garden, and he'd dig that out beginning of winter time, empty out. We had a big compost bin it used to be a coal bunker, and he'd empty the contents of that into the trench, leave it open over winter, and then close it up before he was then going to plant it up. And I do a similar thing with this, in that I keep putting plenty of goodness into this for the beans. Then this bed, this will have some brassicas in of some sort, sprouts, calabrese, cauliflower, not too sure. And then that bed, that is going to have some onions in it. This year I've really excelled with regards onions this year, so they're going to go in there. So I'll spin you round and tell you what's going on, basically where you're standing now. Right, this bed, this will have the sweet peas going across the front, which are coming along really nicely. It won't be too long before I'll be putting them out. So I'm going to have sweet peas across there. Then the rest of this bed, because as I've just mentioned about having quite a few onions, I'm going to put some onions into this bed, and possibly then just down the end here some parsnips. I didn't do parsnips last year. I always have problems with germination and with them growing on, and they are the thorn in my side. But I'm trying a different method, which I will show you about when I start it, and hopefully I'll be able to grow some parsnips this year. The bed there right next to you, that I'm going to do spring onions in. That we'll put a few rows in and then leave some ground open, and then as I take some I'll put some more in, try and get a continuous sowing to keep them coming. But yeah, that is roughly what's going on the plot here, the plans that I've got for this year. Plans can change, I know, but I've given it a thought about with some of the things that I've grown and where I've grown them, and I've decided that yeah, I'll make a plan. I'm going to stick to it, and as I say, one or two things have moved around. We have moved a few things. The ground is all basically ready to go. So I just need a bit of decent weather, which we're currently having at the moment, and there'll be some stuff starting to go out. Well, that's it for this one. Thank you all very much for watching. It really is very much appreciated, and I mean that. It's easy for me to just say it, but no, I do mean it. I can't understand with those sweet yellow Spanish onions. They've germinated, but they seem to be very, very slow growing. I don't know why, or almost reluctant to grow. But I'm not too bothered, because I've got other onions. I've got sets and so on that all need going out. In fact, let me just show you something, because we're in this greenhouse here, and as you can see, I've got all that lot. Now I could do with being able to get, especially with the sets, could do with getting them out. They've just gone absolutely bonkers. They've been in here, and as I say, they've gone nuts. They're all the Kelsey, them in the green pots there, and those over there are me Redlander. So as I say, and the other greenhouse is not much better. That's got some onion sets in it. It's got some spring onions, it's got some beetroot, it's got me sweet peas in there. So, you know, there's a lot that I've got to, well, say a lot, there's quite a bit that I need to get out, and I need the room in here, because my tomatoes are doing nicely. They are under the grow lights at the moment, but what I want to do is, as you've seen like with the onions, I want to try and get them potted on and get them out here, so that they won't race away too much. Hopefully they won't go leggy. Get them out from under me grow lights, and then, as I say, get them in here and pot them up and see how they go on. So before I start waffling, which I'm starting to do, I'll say once again, thank you very much. Be good, look after yourselves, look after each other, and I'll see you in the next one. Ta-ra a bit.